Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Sidequest Gaming, where we take a look at both old and new games to try and uncover some of those little hidden gems you might want to try out and give a crack for yourself. Today we're taking a look at a really interesting little old indie gem. It's a pixel art, post-apocalyptic point-and-click adventure. So we're going to dive in for about half an hour, spend a bit of time with Horatio and his little pal Crispin, and we're going to see what we think of the game. And at the end, as always, I'm going to wrap up with some of my thoughts and feelings about the game to see whether it's something you want to try out for yourself. So let's dive in.
Almost there. One more setting. And one more piece of the unique is operational.
One down, 1 million to go. Speaking of which, boss, I found exactly none of the parts you wanted. A whole day at the junk pile, and all I turn up are a locker and some stupid conduits. Maybe next time. Boss? Are you sure you got those settings right?
Alright.
That came from down in engineering. Let's go.
Alright, let's go. Down to engineering. Down the hatch.
There's no time for that.
Right, no time. Apparently we've got to get to engineering. Alright, hatch it is. Hatch again. Don't know where engineering is. Apparently it might be here.
Boss?
Crispin, get behind me.
That's
Who
big
are
cute.
you and what do you want? Power.
Power overwhelming.
I think he wants the power core.
Stop right there. This ship belongs to me.
Forfeit. Enemy. Plunder.
That's pretty clear.
I don't think he's too keen on...
Get away from the power core.
Forfeit.
Forfeit. Oh no! Bro, no! We're dead. And he's stealing our core. Oh, and our poor little ship's now all sad. Thief!
Boss? Boss? Horatio? Come on, Horatio, wake up!
Oh.
Whew, you're okay.
What happened?
Well, Big Ugly threw you out of the ship,
Big ugly.
and then he said plunder, again,
That's what he did.
and then he left with our power core.
Basad.
Yep,
How much charge have you got?
10%. You?
I'll be fine. We just need to get the emergency generator.
Or we could just go to Metropole, city of glass and light. Free energy for one and all.
Don't believe everything you hear. Metropole is trouble. But if you want to go, you've got free will and a maglev unit.
With that guilt subroutine you put in me, I wouldn't even make it halfway.
Actually, with a 10% charge, you wouldn't even get that far. So I suggest we get the generator working.
You and your projects.
Man built us to build, Crispin. Now, come on.
Alright, so we've got Crispin, our little helper, and now we've got a bit more control and we can move around. Sorry I cut a few of those conversations short just by clicking, but it's one of the things you have to kind of click to make the conversation move on. So as a normal point and click, we can move around, and there's little
can't pick that up.
interactable areas, hotspots
I
that we
can't move
can
this without some kind of
look
crane,
at.
which I certainly don't have time to build now.
Left click is interact, right
Now,
click
I'm not a fancy
is kind of
engineer like
examine.
you, boss, but it seems like the unique isn't gonna fly without its tail on.
So yeah, right click's examine. So over here we've got a robot head.
Is that a gumball machine?
No, it's a robot's head.
Ah, I wanted a gumball.
But we
I
can't
wanted
pick
a
it up. Okay, so over here we've got a data pouch.
I must have dropped my data.
Let's go pick that up. What's it do?
Assad, its memory got wiped. Easy enough to add the good old junk pile's coordinates back in, though.
Alright, so we get a little bit of a map now, which allows a bit of fast travel and things like that. Well, by hovering up the top, we open up kind of our menu with our inventory and our save buttons and all this kind of stuff. In our inventory, we have a data pouch. But before we fast travel to the junk, let's go over to this exit area over here. See what's next in this little space. Okay, we have a ladder. There's grease.
I can't just scoop it up.
Okay, I'm guessing we're probably going to want to pick that up at some point. What else is around? There's a cable.
A sturdy cable.
Can we grab the cable? We can grab the cable. Absolutely awesome. Okay, emergency generator. What's that got to say for itself? Okay, we can zoom in on it. There's a socket, a spark plug, and a switch. So
Crispin, when I told you to find a new spark plug, did you just shove my conductive putty into the old one?
Maybe.
No wonder the generator isn't working.
alright,
At least
let's
the putty is still good.
grab the putty.
The generator is missing. There's supposed to be a power-bearing conduit between this socket and the ship, but I never got around to putting one together.
Now who's the procrastinator?
So we've got to repair something there. Cool.
Some very...
Can we
I can't
grab
just-
the grease at all? Conduit.
It's a segment of Gordium electrical...
Okay. We got that as well. Can we go up the ladder? We can. What is up here? A halogen lantern.
What was I thinking, leaving all my... There's no way I...
Okay, so I can't reach up there. Can we get our little fly boy? Let's see whether...
Could you grab that lantern?
Yeah, he can get it. Go get it, Crispin.
Sure thing, boss.
Legend.
You know, I always wanted to be able to fly. That's why I built you with a maglev unit.
Not so that you could store tools on hard to reach.
Well, that too.
He's a bit cute. What's this thing?
There's no way I can read.
Large...
What was I thinking, leaving all my
Large lantern. Oh, can I get that too then? Let's see.
That's way too big for me.
Okay, Crispin cannot get the lantern. Alright, let's keep wandering around. What else do we have over... Okay, there wasn't an exit, but it just went up here.
A large observational...
Telescope, chair... Let's see whether we can do anything with the stuff we got in our inventory at the moment. Can we combine the conduit and cable or something like that?
It's a data cable, not... The cable's far too long to... That's never go... It's too dark to see the ladder run.
Okay, so we can't go down because it's too dark. Can we put this... Can
Totally.
we... Whoop. How can I
A reliable
use
electric lantern that I cobbled together
the
years
lantern? Can we do it? Use lantern on hatch. There we go. Okay. So we've got our lantern on. That's letting us kind of get around in here. Gospel.
It's the gospel of man.
That's concerning.
Going to pray for a miracle.
We are man's miracle, Crispin. Let's hope that's enough.
Alright, what else can we see in here? Let's go to the
The
hatch.
controls for this hatch are on...
Okay, can't go through there. What else are we going to do here? Books? Nope.
The control pad for the deck access ladder. Good
Okay.
thing there's still some power in the...
Boss, shouldn't you have thought of that before? We could have been...
I could have just ridden you back to the deck.
Fair enough.
Really?
No. Routing that much power to your maglev unit would...
Yeah, right.
Sorry. I couldn't find a working fuse to solve the problem.
I'm a floating bomb.
Nice.
I'm
Floating
a
bomb.
floating bomb. Sweet.
I like this little dude. He's cool. Alright, nothing down there that's used to us. Let's head back down over here. Ooh, another conduit.
More
missed that
gordium
before.
conduit.
Okay. Now, it did say it was wanting us to use some of that conduit on this emergency generator. Will that work? Let's see. 2 conduits.
I'll need at least 5 pieces to be able to build a conduit long enough.
Nothing out here. Let's go to our map and fast travel to the junk pile. Okay.
If that red light went off, I bet the train would start going.
Crispin, sometimes I think you're trying to get me to waste time.
Who, me?
Alright.
I can't see it.
What do we got down here? Locker box.
It's locked tight. Looks like some kind of...
Do we have anything that we can use to break open the locker box? No. Can Crispin do anything to the locker box?
Yep, that's the one I found.
Okay, not useful.
There's nothing. There's a piece of gordium. I can't reach the... There's a piece of gordium conduit way back there. It's
How
just
can
scrap.
I get back there then?
I picked it clean. I can't see anything to do.
Alright.
It's just scrap.
So I need to get this box open, I think, but I don't appear to have any tools that will really let me... What about the data pouch? Can I use that?
I doubt that will have...
No. I just want to pick it up.
Still locked.
Okay. No such luck. Oh, I think I saw a conduit. There we go.
It's 3 pieces of... Unfortunately, one of them is completely corrupt.
Oh, a worthless piece of conduit. That tube that I'm seeing
There's
there.
a piece of gordium.
Nope, no use. Alright,
It's just...
so we're not seeing much of use out here in the junk pile. Unless the
Better
train...
just to leave it alone.
How do you think a train...
Maybe they brought it.
Very fun.
Nothing we can do with the train. Okay.
I
Broken.
picked it clean.
No. I feel like I'm missing something that's really obvious here, but maybe not. Let's head back to the unique. What can
Some
we do
very
with the
sticky.
grease? I feel like we can use the grease for something, but we're very clearly missing a whole bunch of conduit and things like that. Alright, tailwind. Can we go up here at all? Nope. Turbine. Huh. Okay. Now, like a lot of these kind of point-and-click games, it really is a case of like rubbing various things in your inventory on other things to see what will happen and see what you can combine or connect with. Ooh, hatch. I can
The
go
hatch
through.
is unresponsive.
No, can't go through there. I feel like I definitely missed something up this side with the going down the lantern. Can I use the telescope? Let's see.
Without power from the...
Bad timing with those repairs.
Alright, let's head back down. We had books, console, what else do we have? Sheet metal. We couldn't get through the hatch. I feel like there must be something else in here. Otherwise, what is of use?
So that's where you keep it.
Oh, something was in the bed.
Why were you looking for my plasma torch?
No reason.
Alright,
I can't pick...
we have a plasma torch. What can we use the plasma torch for? Didn't expect to find that in the bed, but sure.
I'm trying to fix... There's no reason to cut that.
Okay, at least, well, it kind of makes sense to me that we could look at our lockbox now, right? So let's go back to the junkyard. We've got a torch. That means we should be able to cut this open.
Still locked.
So let's try that.
Let's see if this works.
Looks like it might have. There we go. Nice.
Is that a spark plug? Who locks up a spark plug?
Good point.
Actually, I think that box was some kind of machine.
You killed it!
Recycled it. I guess it was actually some kind of machine. I'm pretty sure.
Murderer. Definitely a murderer. Can we cut through here to get this
I
tube?
would waste the torch's whole charge before cut.
Okay, so no we cannot.
I can't reach.
How am I supposed to get to the conduit if it's under here? Oh well. So we've got the spark plug, so let's head back to the unique. Not the unique, the unique. Say it right. Okay, spark plug. We know we can put that in here, which is the gap. There we go. Okay, one thing's...
I won't leave it running until I can connect it to the...
Okay, we need to be able to connect it, which we need all the little bits of conduit for. And we have 4. God, that feels like it should be close enough, doesn't it? We're missing 1, and we know where it is. So it's in the junk pile. We just can't get to it because the tube's in the way. What can we use on the tube? Oh, I can't reach it. Can Crispin reach it?
Crispin, can you go in there and get that piece of conduit?
I suppose.
Okay, that's how we get it. Nice.
That would have been a lot
Success.
easier with hands, boss.
Alright, now we got all 5. So, in theory, if we go back to the unique, we should be able to use our 5 pipes, conduits on the socket.
It won't work until they're locked together.
Okay, once we've locked them together. So, do we do it with the grease?
All it would do is gum them up.
Nope, not hold them together. Do we do it with the putty?
Not a bad idea, but I can't carry enough of a charge, and it isn't sticky enough.
Do we just straight up plasma torch
Time for a
them?
little welding.
Yeah, we do.
Wow, that was easier than I thought.
Okay, we have
I'll need to get
a socket. There we go. Cool. So our emergency thing is repaired. And the unique lives. It is alive. Alright, nice. Feeling successful.
Whew, I thought we were in trouble when Big Ugly stole our core. But just like that, problem solved.
The problem is not solved.
Well, I agree. The noise leaves something to be desired.
This is an emergency generator, Crispin.
Well, it was an emergency, boss.
It only runs for a few days, if that.
Oh. Well, do we have another one?
No, which means it still is an emergency.
Well, in that case, first dibs on the recharge station.
Okay, we're getting a bit of juice back.
So, what's the plan, boss?
We need to recover our power core.
Or we could just take the train to Metropole and live in luxury.
First of all, there is no train to Metropole. And second, even with full charges, we can't just walk there. But more importantly, I hate that city. It's in my core logic. I don't know why, but I can't change it.
Okay, okay. In that case, can you just make us a new power core?
Yes. But I need some kind of strong energy source for...
Can you just make one of those too? I'm just asking.
No. But somewhere around here are the plans for an energy sensor.
That's awfully convenient.
I designed it a long time ago, before I made you. I even found a sodium iodide crystal to use in the sensor, though man alone knows where it's buried now. We're fine on energy, for now.
Alright, so really good premise for setting us off on our little adventure. Big bad Big Ugly, he comes along, he steals our power core, and it's our job with our little floating dust bot to go figure out how to find some new energy so that we've got a bit of a recharging station at our ship and that we don't die.
You know,
really
boss, if you're
cool
ever
little
wondering
basis
what
for a
I would
story.
do, feel free to just...
I'll keep that in mind.
What do I think of Primordia? I think it's aesthetically, the artwork's great, the pixel art's fantastic, it's a really interesting little game. I think it's not always as intuitive as it could be, but that's, I feel, within the nature of any kind of point and click game.
The original designs for Crispin.
Hey, there are an awesome...
I went with a maglev unit instead, and I never could find good arms.
Of the greater whole. Join us, and together let us begin a new Primordia.
Obviousness of some of the choices is a bit hidden sometimes when you're playing these sort of games. I think it's created a really compelling world. I think it's really important to be aware of some of the way the mechanics work to enjoy this game properly. Left click, interact, right click to examine and get more information about it. They're holding up the top here to look at your inventory and move through the different I guess tools you have at your disposal and how you can click on them to then to kind of move outside of the inventory with them. So Gospel of Man, move over here and we can then use it on various items. If you haven't quite got those few little things right at the start, then you can find this game really challenging because things just aren't as obvious as they could be. All in all though, really compelling little setup, really interesting graphics, really cool story, and I really like the voice narration between Crispin and Horatio. So really cool little package that they've put together. Definitely want to keep an eye on if you like point and click adventures, like Old Monkey Island and a few of those kind of games. And if you like this kind of post-apocalyptic aesthetic, it's definitely something that's worth maybe having a look at. Anyway, this has been Sidequest Gaming. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me. I really appreciate it. As always, like, subscribe. Hopefully we come across some little hidden gems that you might want to try out for yourself that you haven't seen before. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Have a great one. Bye.